What's up, guys? I'm gonna turn on this other light. I just noticed that my other light's not on. Let me turn that on real quick. Not that it helps too much. I do plan on getting a couple small lights to put back here. Just something to illuminate forward. These lights really don't do it. And when I try to put one of these lights back here, it just looks like, it looks horrible. So I'm gonna get a couple little round lights that are like frosted, that have the muting face on top of them, like 10 or 15 watt, just something to illuminate the front. I do have some news, and let me get the chat window back open. For some strange reason it closed. No, it's back. Let me see who all's in here. We got, looks like, I was going to start from the bottom and go up. I see Devastator, Jerry, which those guys are moderators. They're supposed to be here. We got Searching for Tone again. Good to see you, man. We have Jupe. Let me see, who else do we have? We have Vox, Cole Had, which he's from Israel, guys, so usually he passes out in the first 15 or 20 minutes of the stream. And then we have Kurt, which Kurt said he's at work, so I don't know if he just has it at his work desk over here on the side and he's playing it in the background. So everyone type in and say, don't work too hard to Kurt. He's shadow banned us, I guess you can say, and just kind of playing us at work. But it's good that he's here. We did go to the music store today, guys. My local music store, where we picked this one up, Shandor Music, they were having a sale. And I had sent them a text message on another RGA, very similar to this one, but in gray. Because everyone here knows I've been playing this guitar a lot. The more I play this guitar, the more I like this guitar. I am 100% liking it. It's a $450 guitar, and I think I've said it a million times. You take a budget guitar that's at $250 or $300, you put pickups in it, you change the tuning keys, you are at this price point. And every time I play this thing, it gets more impressive. The lightweight body, I think that's what's got me, is this guitar is just so light. And I like, now granted guys, I like floating bridges, but being able to the other strings don't go out of whack when you bend the, everyone knows I'm pretty aggressive. I never really understood the old saying, tones in the fingers. But since I've just kind of, it's almost like an attitude. I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't really care if you like it. I'm going to play it like I stole it. And since I've gotten that attitude, just play it like you've stolen it, I notice now what I think they mean by that. Playing the notes and picking the notes on time, that's not enough. Being aggressive is not technically enough. It's mixing all those things and putting feel into it, I guess. I've noticed that in my playing. So, and I can play softly and get a completely different sound out of my amplifier. So I think there's a lot of truth to that. And I used to laugh at that. I thought it was people just saying, oh, tones in the fingers. I don't think I really put my head around that concept. But if I sit here and it's the aggression. The way I strike it, it makes the amp, even though this is a modeling amp, and everyone knows I like tubes, even though this thing's a modeling amp, it does pick up on that aggression. So I think I'm starting to get that concept of tone is in the fingers. I'm starting to pick up on that. My problem with that is everyone knows I'm kind of more of a field player. And getting good at something means you can pull something out of your BUTT every now and then, and you can go back and listen to it and go, wow, that was freaking awesome. How did I do that? But I think repetition on learning certain sequences, once you get it down to, I guess some people call it muscle memory, or you don't even have to think about it and you do it. Once you get to that point, I think then the saying of tone is in your fingers, I think that's when it really comes into play, because now you're not really thinking about the next note or where you're going next. You already know. So now you can concentrate on that pick attack. You can concentrate on how aggressive you're actually hitting that note. Not where, oh, I've got to resolve this fifth, I've got to resolve this, I've got to bridge this into the chorus. You don't have to think that. That's not what you're thinking. You've got it memorized, you've got it down, you've played it 1,000 times. Now it's just feel. And there's 50,000 different ways to play it. You guys see me play this a lot. Let's say I want to play that, and I want to do it in more of a simplistic fashion, something that's not taking up so much space in the mix. So I can do it's the exact same structure. Instead of playing, it's the exact same thing. When you go to that mixture, it's much. Hey, I see. I think Kurt just sent us an image. We'll get to the images here in a second. Instead of being on stage and really concentrating on all this moving, why not just simplify it? Let the lead vocalist and let the bass player have a little room and just just saying, guys, you can get just as much feel out of this. You can play it. You can do this too. You can add the accents instead of. You can do the exact same thing. So try not to work yourself into a box. Try to open it up. Like I said, there's only 12 notes. This whole thing, there's only 12 notes. And don't worry about copying somebody because everything's already been wrote before. People go, oh, it's this song, it's that song. There's only 12 notes. Every progression, at some point in some song, in some style, it's been written before. So, circling back, since it's been written before, what makes the change? It's how we attack it. Everything's been done. It's just how we attack it, how we approach it. Don't be scared to dig in too. You're gonna mess up. You know? Okay, I'm done yakking. I see.
Kurt said he sent you his view at work.
Oh, he sent us. Well, I'll get to the teams here, guys. Kurt says it looks like he sent us his view at work. So let me open up Teams. Let me get back. His view at work. Oh my gosh. I knew Kurt was doing the nightclub stuff, guys. I kind of figured that. All right, guys, we're going to look at Kurt's view. He's the big cheese, evidently. He's in control of everything. So I'm going to hit display screen. And we're going to go to Teams. So here's Kurt's view. Oh my gosh, I see some dancers. I'm assuming that's what that is. Right there. What kind of board is that, Kurt? Oh, I see the window right here with our chat window. See, this is the more important window. I don't know if you guys can see my little hand guy working around. Actually, he's at work, guys, so this is his most important window right here. So look, say he's got his keyboard, his main mixing facility here. I'm assuming these are almost like CD players, or at this point, they're probably some kind of pre recorded uh, channels 1 and 2. It looks pretty simple. Looks like he's got the phone for the boss calls, so you can't play that anymore. And he's got his microphone right here. So I'm assuming this right here would be this channel, and this one is the channel that we can't see right here. So that's what I'm assuming it is. And I'm not sure what this is. I can't tell if that's locked into the board or if this is some kind of remote. But that's Kurt's view at work. So I'm glad he's at work, and we're on the side screen here.
He said he's the manager of a strip club. Been there 19 years.
Oh my gosh, manager of a strip club. Well, Kurt, thank you so much for taking that photo before she got too exposed, because this is a family channel. So I can see she is dressed. So you're more than welcome to send more pictures. Just make sure they're family friendly. You can send the other pictures later. That's awful. Now Lilel's going to give me the bad looks, isn't she? All right, let me go back to the main scene. So that's Kurt's job. So I guess he's like doing the main music. He's the main cheese, picking out what does what. That's kind of cool. I got to get the chat window back open, guys. So that's Kurt's view. So I see Cole's typed in. It's like speaking a new language after some years. You don't think about the words you use. It's just speaking naturally. You know, Cole, I couldn't imagine going somewhere and then being forced to speak another language. Especially, I know people go on trips, and English is a pretty predominant language, but to go to another country and just be able to speak very little of that country's national language, it's got to be tough. I can't imagine. Now, I live in Northern Virginia, so the secondary language here is Spanish. And I speak very broken Spanish, just so everyone knows. I can communicate, I can ask for nails, I can see, is it level, is it plumb, is the offset right, how was your weekend? I can do basic things in Spanish, enough to get by and get my point across. But when I don't know something and they say something that maybe it's something I've heard before, but I keep hearing it, I ask them, what is that word? And then I hope someone there is better at English and Spanish to kind of let me know why they always say this one thing back to me, if that makes sense. But I've been doing that for 20 years, and I still really can't speak Spanish. So I think it's one of those things where if you were going to learn a foreign language like Cole's taught, you've pretty much got to be dropped off there and say, okay, you need to speak it. And if you had to speak it every day and ask for X, milk or eggs or this, or eventually you would grasp it. I've never been in that position to where I had to learn, if that makes sense. But getting back to what happened to us today, back to the Ibanez. Like I said, I'm really digging this guitar, and I had called them. I got a text message from my local store, and they said that they were having a Memorial Day sale, and I was like, okay, let me see what they'll do. I know they had this guitar down there, exact same guitar, but in gray. Now the gray, the slate gray with the tiger stripe maple top, the back of that guitar isn't colored like this one. So they painted this one almost like a black, but on the gray model they left this red. It's a natural mahogany color because that's what this guitar is made out of. So we went down and Linnell was looking at it and she's like, yeah, I like the top, but the gray and black top really doesn't fit that red mahogany back. And I'm looking at it going, you're kind of right. It really doesn't. So excuse me. She was looking at a guitar there already, and that particular guitar she was looking at was actually a much thinner body than this on the ends. I'm going to say the Ibanez that she was looking at, right here, it's probably only half-inch thick. And it ramps, it bulges out on the back and the top. So it goes from like a half-inch and ramps up and then back to it's very, very thin on the ends. It does, when I asked questions, it's the exact same pickups, exact same bridge, exact same tuners, okay? Still got the scarf neck here. It seems like the big change is the thickness. They've milled the body down on this ramp. Like this one's bare, it's got a little bit of a ramp, but they've really ramped that one down and thinned out the body through here. They've put the input jack sideways right here. And the top on that guitar is quilted maple. It's a quilted maple veneer over mahogany. It was, how much was that guitar regularly, hon?
$4.99.
I think it was $4.99 at their store. I don't know what it would be anywhere else. So since they were having the sale, they offered it to us at $4.50. And as you know, things that Linnell wants, Linnell gets. So I do not have the guitar with us. As much as I'd like to be made of money, I'm not. So I already have a layaway there. I'm getting a case from our RevStar that I've been making payments on. So we put the guitar on layaway. So as soon as that guitar comes, maybe I won't get in trouble as much playing this guitar. Or maybe we'll play the new Ibanez more than this one. It is mean sounding. It is mean sounding, and it is mean playing. I guess I should have taken the time to look more into Ibanez products. Since we purchased this one, I've been playing more of their products. They're, let's say, $500 to $300 guitars, and I'm highly impressed with their $300 to $500 guitars. The pickups is what's impressing me. These guitars have really good pickups. It's not just the pickups. It's this right here. Okay, you hear that? I know that doesn't sound like, oh, well, he's showing us a volume knob, but listen. It is consistent. It's very linear all the way down. I mean, when I review Firefly guitars, I do check, okay, the potentiometers. And I've gotten used to the first 25% being pretty much useless. It is. On a lot of those guitars, it's useless. So you go from, it's just like, and then from 25 to 100, it works. But from 25 to 75, it's all pretty much between 25 and 50%. So from 50% to 100, that's your last 25%. It's almost like it's not a linear curve on the potentiometer. It like does this number. It's like a swoop, okay? It's concaved on how it reaches. On this guitar here, it's very even. And the tone works the same way. And it's not a drastic tone. That's all the way down. All the way up. Now there is a difference. But what I've noticed on some of the budget guitars, it's almost like the tone knob does too much. You want the tone knob to work. But when your tone knob takes everything out, it just ends up sounding like a guitar that's been muffled and it's down in a goon can somewhere. That's not a tone that you can technically use. On this guitar, that's all the way down. Now, is that a tone I would use? Most likely not, but it's not near as bad as like some of the sub $300 guitars. That's a usable tone. Let's start. That's all the way down. I mean, someone might go, "Oh, that's the greatest sound ever," but for me, that's a little dark. I'm going to turn it about 10 degrees. Right there, that's usable. So yeah, right at 10, almost at like 90% down, it's usable. Think in context of a mix, guys. That's usable in a mix. Because remember, you might have another guitar player in there just going. When you mix the two together, it's going to have bottom and bite. The bass player is going to fill in the 80 hertz and lower. You've got the rhythm player. And this is all contingent on playing with people that aren't showboats, that want to be the loudest member in the band, that want to work together and sound good as a band. That's not members that are wanting just to go, well, I'm the best guitar player, I'm the best bass player, I'm the best whatever.
I went out to feed the birdies, so I don't know if you saw where Niles was asking how he can send you a pic.
Niles, basically on Teams, and I don't know, the moderators can put things like that in the chat box. They can put links. Moderators can. I'm pretty sure Devastator and Jerry can. But if you go to Teams and type in, it's I don't even know the letters. It's just the letters. So it would be moderately M, good G, pilot P, that T, will W. It's moderately good pilot that will eventually get better. Just the first letter on all those. Okay? And then type that and then Healy Freak, because I was into helicopters a lot. And I should come up in Teams where you could send me a message. I know it works because pretty much everyone in the chat that sends me things typed in that. If someone can word that out, Devastator or something can put my tag name in Teams in the chat for him so he can find it. And then you can send me information there. But back to this guitar. With all those things considered, I'm not downing budget guitars, guys. I'm not. I love budget guitars. But if you're wanting something at the next level that you don't have to do anything with, I firmly believe Ibanez has knocked it out of the park with this RGA series. And the one Linnell just picked up. Again, that's pushing budget. That guitar supposedly is $499. So we'll look on Sweetwater and see what that guitar is. $500. I guess it's relative. It depends on what you consider a mid-price guitar. But as far as YouTube is concerned, I would say most people would consider $500 not a budget guitar. But if you look at if you get a bad one and you got to do tuners and pickups and this and that, I would still say $500 and under would be a budget. And every Firefly I've ever bought, every budget guitar, whether it was a Leo James or Grote, what else? A Van Gogh, all of them right out of the box needed strings. So there's 20 bucks in time. Most of them always need a set of good tuners, okay? Most of them. The Valgoas, believe it or not, they were some of the cheaper budget guitars. The Valgoa tuners were freaking awesome. The problem with the Valgoa was the pickups were really bad. Really bad. Microphonic and very mid-focused. If you get into Leo James, all kinds of fret problems, all kinds of neck issues, bad tuners. Yes, the pickups are better, but you're going to do some fret work on those guitars. I've yet to get a Leo James that was actually good out of the box fret-wise. And every Leo James I've ever reviewed, they have had the worst tuners out of any guitar I've ever played. Their tuners, I think I did a video one time. I was scared to turn the tuners. I thought they were going to snap when I put strings on it. I'm pretty sure it was either a monsoon or hurricane that was on. I can't remember which one it was, but if you go back and listen to it, I point out I was scared to turn these things because they felt like they were going to snap off of my fingers. They were so bad. So to get a guitar like this with the tuning keys that it has, I'm highly impressed. And I can honestly say I'm not as, I hate to say it this way, it sounds kind of bad, I'm not as ignorant, I guess, as I was. I have a lot more bass now after reviewing 50 or 60 some guitars that I kind of got a feel for these tuners. Just like if I sit here and I mean, come on. My point in that was I went from a drop tune right up to that tune, and it's holding. That's why I went down in tune and went. I'm not in drop tune there, but I was doing the exact same thing. Again, it held tune. Now, I did go down and just barely tune back up. The tuners are good. These are good. Are they the best tuners? No, these aren't ratio tuners. They're not $130 tuners. But they're as good as any $60 tuner that I've put on a Firefly. And I consider those an upgrade part. They're smooth. They work. So I think all things considered, this might be Dominion Fretworks go-to if you're on a budget and want to pick something up and play this Ibanez RG series. I believe I'm going to give I've never done this to a guitar, but I've played 4 of these guitars out of random. Every one of them played well. The worst one I played, and I mean the worst one, I just put on layaway today. And when I say it was the worst one. The reason was it was not set up, and there was a tremendous, when I say a tremendous, there was a tremendous amount of neck relief in this guitar that Linnell just picked up. And as soon as I picked it up, I noticed the action. I was like, wow, the action's kind of high on this thing. And I looked down at it and I'm like, ruh-roh, Reggie. And the guy goes, what's wrong? It need a truss rod adjustment? I'm like, yeah, just a little bit. 1.5 millimeters of neck relief or 2 millimeters of neck relief may be a bit excessive for our playing style. And he's like, well, I'll go back and give it an adjustment. And I said, look, don't give it more than a half a turn. If you give it 2/4 turns and it doesn't bring it back, don't turn it any more than that. And he looked at me and I'm like, because I'm thinking about buying it and I don't want to chase it. If you max it out, if you do a half a turn, bring it out. And he was back there for a while. He brought it out and he was like, here you go. I'm like, half turn? He goes, yeah, half turn. And it was still, I'm going to say, almost at 0.75, maybe a millimeter of relief. So that guitar is going to need another third turn, I'm going to guess. We'll have to see. Because remember, the wood's not going to move instantly. It still has pressure on it. When you move that truss rod and you tighten it and you start bending it back, remember the wood is used to being this way. Now the truss rod is putting pressure the other direction. Don't do it too much. When a neck is that far out, half turn, guys. That's the rule. Now, other channels will tell you, yeah, you can. Just go ahead and crank it and get it right. But odds are the neck is going to relieve a little bit. When that pressure of that rod pushes on it, eventually the neck's going to give. And when it gives, your truss rod pressure is going to be exceeding the neck pressure. So then the neck's going to go the opposite direction. Then you're going to chase it. Then you're going to take some pressure off the rod. So it's better to sneak up on it, especially this time of year when we're coming out of the seasons. Especially like here, we've gotten almost 3.5 inches of rain in the last week, and for this area, that's a tremendous amount of rain. There's been all kinds of basement flooding, just all kinds of issues. We have gotten a tremendous amount of rain, so the humidity has been really high here for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I told him a half a turn. But that one's the worst one I've played, and it still played really, really good. It sounded really, really good. The electronics work really, really good. The overall fit and finish on the guitar, it's really good. So I think I'm gonna say that this might be the best bang for your buck guitar that I've had the opportunity to review and look at 4 of them, and they're all quite consistent in quality. And that's saying something. We're not talking $1,500 guitars. When you buy a $1,500 guitar, it should. If you order 10 of those guitars, 9 of those guitars, or 10 should be great guitars. When you get into the $700-800 range, okay, maybe 7 or 8 of those guitars should be spot on. I know what y'all think. Well, they should all be right. Technically, you're right, but they're fast guitars. They're made fast. So if you can get 7 or 8 at the $700 price range, I would say it's a pretty good consistency. If you get into like the $500 range, I think you're going to be hit and miss, 50-50. Maybe 5 or 6 good and a couple bad ones out of the batch. If you get below 500, you start getting into the Squire, because the Squire Vintage Vibe 450. You get into the vibe range, I'm definitely going to say that that's a 50-50 mix. Nothing wrong with the Squires, but there's always going to be a good Squire and a not so good Squire. Everyone here most likely knows what I'm talking about. You just go to the store. If they've got 5 or 6 Squires, I guarantee you 2 or 3 of those Squires are going to play amazingly. And there's going to be a couple that's going to be kind of like, I'm not. It doesn't matter if you like the guitar, the color, just pick it up and play it. Does it play well? That's what I mean. Does it play well? Does it fret right? Does it buzz? Is it set up properly? You should get at least 3 out of the 6 on a 455. This one does seem to be a little above that.
Do you hear me?
What's this, honey?
Mike is on.
Hey, Mr. Mike is in. We like when Mike comes in. So that's just kind of what I was seeing on it. I'm going to say, as of right now, guys, on a budget-friendly guitar, I'm going to give that one best bang for the buck right now. I really need a cough button.
Birdman wants to know if you tried a Tease guitar.
Do I have not tried a Tease. From what I understand on Tease guitars, Tease is pretty much like a Firefly. Okay, he's ordering X guitars. He receives them. He goes through them and sets them up, and then resells them. I don't think Tease is actually going through and leveling the frets, dressing the frets. I think basically what he's doing is he's receiving them, just making sure there's no obvious problems like bad tuners and chips. Everything functions, and he does the setup and then resells them. That's how I understand how Tease is working. If I'm incorrect, someone please in the chat correct me. But I'm pretty sure that's what he's doing. He's ordering a lot. A lot means not a lot, like many. A lot means X guitars. Whether that company considers a lot to be 25 or 50 or 100. He's a small operation. So I doubt very seriously that he's ordering 100 guitars at a time. He could be. I mean, the more guitars he orders in that lot, the cheaper his price point gets. But small companies like this don't have the buying power. That's the issue. If Ibanez, okay, now hear me out on this. Ibanez company is not making this guitar. This guitar is made in Indonesia, okay? So the company making this, whether it's Cortex or whoever it is, I don't remember who the big Indonesia plant is. If Ibanez goes to them and says, look, we've got the RGA series, we've got the Geo, the G10, some people are Geo line, and we're going to order, let's say, 10,000 guitars. And we're building these series with these colors. Cortex or whoever's doing it is going to give them a very big, they're going to give them a better price ordering 10,000 guitars. I would probably say Ibanez is ordering more than 10,000 from that company. So they're going to put priority on that order. Okay, if that makes sense. They're ordering a lot of product. When Tease calls over and says, I want 100 guitars, they're going to be like, okay. And then let's say in 2 months he orders 100 more. He'll say if he does it every month. I doubt very seriously that he's selling 100 guitars a month. So even at that rate, that's 1,200 guitars. To Cortex and these other companies, that's a drop in the bucket. They could, I hate to say it, they could care less. They really could. So for him at that buying power and that buying price point, I don't see him even being able to compete with Firefly, if that makes sense.
Read Jupe's comment.
Jupe's comment. Jupe's comment. Avery, what motorcycle do you have? Cousin has a Harley Night Train. I think it is called. I don't know. Jupe, I have a BMW. I have an R1200 RT. And I've been looking at an R1250 RTP. But right now I have an R1200 RT. And Searching for Tones says he buys about 200, I think, each lot. So that sounds about right. A 200 guitar lot. Now, how often he's buying those guitars? That's the problem, guys. You have to stop and think. Even 100 guitars, that's not a lot of guitars. It's not. But let's put ourselves in his position. Okay, if his price point is 300 and he's making, usually your normal price point is max 35-40%. If you can squeeze 40%, you're in the halo market in guitars. I would say guitars on his end is probably a 30% mark. So let's just pretend he's got $180 in each guitar. If you buy 100 of them, that's a tremendous amount of money, guys. even at that $100 price point. Okay, stop and think about it. That's a tremendous amount of money to order, okay, and then have come in. And if you're ordering from China and they come in and they're messed up, you can count you're paying for it and then they're sending it. It's not like he has enough buying power to say, when we receive them, we're going to send you the check. It's not going to work that way. He's buying it and then they're shipping it. So if they get rushed and they push a bunch of stuff through and it gets sent to him, it becomes his responsibility to fix that. Okay? No matter what's wrong with it, he's got to fix it and get that price and his money back out of it and try to make money. That's the scary point, because you don't have a recourse with China. If I order 100 guitars and they all come in, they have the exact same issue, let's say high frets, or all of them have a problem with the bridge, or all of them have substandard tuners, and I know that that thing's going to be coming back, and I've got to go out and get another set of tuners to replace them all, or every one of them has bad strings and you got to put new strings on it. All these little things start to add up. So just taking it out of the box, inspecting it, doing a setup, and then reselling it, and keeping that price point down, you can't make that much.
Devastator wants to know how the progress on Juke's guitar is coming along.
Yeah, we were going to have a video this week, guys, but work was kind of crazy. So I have the video up in my editing software. So this particular video is crowning the frets and dressing the end of the frets and addressing the fret sprout. So that's what this video is on. I'm hoping to have it done like by Wednesday of this coming week, give or take. And then the video after that is reshaping the guitar neck down to a wizard profile. So yeah, I'm a little behind schedule on that. I apologize, guys. But back to the T's, it's very difficult to do, guys. I'll be honest with you. If I had $10,000 or $15,000 laying around to do that, that would be the last thing I would do. Is order a bunch of guitars from China and try to unbox them, set them up, and resell them. There are 50,000 other ways to make more money with your hard-earned money than doing that. And at some point you got to realize, if you're making, let's say by the time you do your shipping and everything, let's say you make let's say you make $100 a guitar. You're not making enough money to pay yourself and put money in the bank to grow the business. And if you are, you're talking years and years and years and years of work before you get to the point where you actually have buying power. I still think that's why Firefly is so hit and miss. I think those guys have good intentions, and you see a lot of products sometimes and then they slow down. I think, I could be wrong, maybe it's a credit line they have. It just seems like sometimes they get flooded with instruments and then it just slows down. So I'm not sure if it's buying power or if it's their vendors. But Firefly's been doing it for about 8 years now, 9 years, and they're just really now starting to grab hold, if that makes sense. And they can't be making too much. Maybe, like I said, maybe max $100 a unit. I don't see them being able to do that because of the shipping rates and stuff. And you got to also think, guys, when you get into that, you're not doing it out of your apartment. If you order, let's say, 500 or 600 guitars, you're going to need a place to stage them, and that place is going to have to be heated and cooled, and you're going to have to keep the humidity right to keep those items in decent condition. You would be just killing yourself if you just tried to do that out of your house. You'd just be killing yourself. So I don't know how Tease is doing it. Like I said, I think I've said it before. I wish him luck. That's not something that I think I would ever consider doing. And we've talked about it on this channel before, me doing custom instruments. It's just, I just don't see how you can compete, if that makes sense. If I have to sit here and work on a guitar, or if I go to my job, I don't see me being able to service guitars and make what I make at work and have the benefits and the time off. Like this coming Monday, I'm paid. I'm paid off. I'm not working, but the company is paying me to be off. So that means if I owned my own business, believe me, I owned my own business for many years. That means I had to make more money than I pay myself throughout the year to take off 2 weeks at Christmas to get paid, like tomorrow, Monday being paid off. You have to make money. When you have to make money. When you, I don't know how many of you are self-employed, but it's dropping off now. You have what's called federal unemployment. And when I first become an employer, I used to laugh at my accountant and I would say, well, where do I file for federal unemployment? And he would go, well, there is no such thing as federal unemployment. I'm like, well, I'm paying it. I'm paying it here and I'm matching his federal unemployment. He goes, yeah, but you only pay it in for the first quarter. But there is no such thing as federal unemployment. But you're paying it. You, the employee, you guys don't see the line. The employer sees federal unemployment. Little things like that are paid in. Okay, the business owner also has to match a couple of those taxes to federal, state, FICA, and a bunch of other things. So when you look at your check and you're like, wow, the government just took a third of my money. Well, not only did they take what you say, but your employer is paying about, let's say you make $25 an hour. Your employer is paying in that plus probably about another $3 an hour, give or take, in stuff that you don't see. And that's before his workers' comp, okay, because you got to pay workers' comp. And everyone knows if you work somewhere, there's been an accident. Once you have one accident, your workers' comp triples. And it stays that way for 7 years. So how many companies have you all worked for that has not had an accident within 7 years? A paper cut, someone that had something had to go to the ER. One problem, your rate jacks up. So if you got 15 or 20, it just adds up. So being a viable company making guitars, I don't see how companies do it. And that's why I always say, I don't understand how companies do it. I don't. How do you do a $300 guitar and make money? You got to ship it. There's just so much to it, guys. It just blows my mind. That's why I have the utmost respect for people like Tees that are doing it. I've never played a Tees guitar, but at the same token, guys, I don't expect a Tees to be anything more than one of these Fireflies that I set up. I could be wrong. I hope I am wrong, but I don't see his guitar being any better than a set-up Firefly or some other, $300, $200 budget guitar. I don't see it because it's being sourced from the exact same type vendor, if that makes sense. It's not like they're coming. I would venture to say, let's say Firefly. Firefly is not using Cortex. They're not. They're using a lower tier manufacturing company in China. They're not using Cortex. They're just not. Cortex is not going to do that. I think there was another channel on YouTube that seems to think the Firefly, one of the vendors was also doing the Chibsons. That he had some pictures of the Chibson and the Firefly boxes on the same production line. How much truth there is on that, I don't know. But it makes sense because a replica company like Cortex, they're not going to stick their toe in that water and have Gibson and Epiphone go, wait a minute, you're making this product for us and then you're turning around and doing the Chibson stuff. We can pull our product and we'll send it to India because there are good manufacturing places in India now building guitars. They don't have to build in China. And this whole concept of China is cheaper, it's cheaper in India. The problem with India is the import fees, okay? China is not the cheapest place to manufacture anymore. It really isn't. That's why you're seeing companies, even before Trump come in office, Companies were leaving China. That's why we have Indonesia, Korea, and India. This has been going on for like the past 5, 6, 7 years. Companies pulling out of China, going to Korea, South Korea, Indonesia, India. We're seeing it. Mexico. We're also seeing Brazil. There's some stuff going on down in Brazil. So China isn't the manufacturing powerhouse that it was 10 or 15 years ago, where it was just dirt cheap labor. You know, they have the manufacturing and the production ability, but the labor cost has went up in China. That's just what's happened. So I'm not here to say one's better than the other, guys. Like I was just saying about this Ibanez, and I think we said it was Indonesia. Yep, this is Indonesia. I have no issues with it. I have a Fender FMT over here. It's Indonesian. It's a fine guitar. Got a couple Fireflies. I know they're made in China. They're good guitars. Don't know where my Kramer's made. I think that's Korea. I think that's Korea. I'm not too sure. So when people say, "Oh, it's made in China," China can build a good guitar. Korea can build a good guitar. Indonesia can build a good guitar. Can the Czech Republic build a good guitar? I don't know, but that's where the PVs are being made in the Czech Republic. So things are going to change, guys. I'm not going to sit here and say that they're going to go through the roof. I think we will see a price change, and it needs to go up. I hate to say that, but guitars need to go up in price. Not just for people like me that work and service on guitars, but for the employees. I live within an hour and 10 minutes of the Paul Reed Smith plant. I applied there and found out kind of what they pay. This was a long time ago. They didn't pay much, guys. I would love to work at Paul Reed Smith, but I can't pay my electric bill and work at Paul Reed Smith. Not even as a master luthier at Paul Reed Smith. I can't make 50% of what I make at my job working for Paul Reed Smith as a master luthier. And I doubt I could get that position. He's not going to put me in as a master. He's going to put me on a line, maybe doing frets. I'm going to do that for maybe 6 months. Okay, you've got our fret thing down. Let's put you over here. Make sure you have this down. No one's going to go right in because you got to learn their way of doing things. People go, "Well, I'm too good to go work in the fret department. I'm not going to polish guitars." It's not that you're not good enough. Paul Reed Smith and all these companies have a way that they want to do their product. Okay, as a salesperson, I truly believe salespeople need to work on the production floor. They need to box the instruments. They need to look at how the instrument's boxed. Go polish the guitar. Polish some frets. Run the CNC machine. Granted, you got a tech there. You've got a controller. Let the salesman see the CNC process. Run a couple programs. Pull the parts off the machine. Let him go over to the sanding and buffing machine. Just get their feet wet at all stages of the plant and go, "Okay, now you are ready to go out and sell my product because you've seen how we polish it, how we do our frets, how it's run on the CNC." It's the exact same process when you're hired as a builder, whether it's Gibson, Jackson, whoever. They're not just going to let you swing in and be a luthier. You're going to go in there, you're going to learn how they do their glue ups. Do they glue their glue ups where it's up, down on the grain pattern? Because if you do that, every other piece of wood is going to look ugly. It does. It's more stable, but anytime your grain goes up, that board is going to look prettier than the one that the grain goes this way. There's a pretty side to the board. So a lot of guitar companies, if it's a finished top and split, both pieces are going to go grain out, 2-piece body. When you start getting into a multi-piece body, that's where you might start having problems. So then they laminate one side of the guitar. The drawback to laminating one side of the guitar, the body, the curve of the body can still warp. Okay? The way it's going to warp, if I laminate this side, the guitar is going to warp in that direction. 100% guarantee it. If I laminate one side, it's going to warp on the ends towards the laminate. If I laminate both sides of the guitar, and I have a multi-piece, the two laminate layers work against one another. It doesn't want to curl this way because it has to pull the wood fibers apart on the top for it to roll. It can't roll this way because the bottom lam has to pull the wood fibers apart for that lam to move. That's why whenever you see a guitar like that Firefly right there, very impressed me. It's a multi-piece mahogany body, but they did laminate the top and the back side of that guitar with a laminate piece of mahogany. That's stupid impressive for a $200 price point guitar. I could not laminate that piece of wood together and run it on the CNC for $200. We're not talking about the neck. We're not talking about doing any fret work, pickup work. I can't make that body just with the tenon joint. Laminate the 5 pieces or 4 pieces of wood together, then laminate the top piece and the bottom piece on a pressure machine, put it on the machine and route it and sell it for $200. I will be out of business if I put up $50,000, I'd be out of business in 2 months. With $50,000, I'd be out of business in 2 months. I couldn't compete. There's no way I could sell that. Who's going to buy it? It's a tenon joint, so I got to make a neck. So now I got to glue up pieces for the neck. Okay, so I do a neck and I join it together. Well, okay, now the neck is the hard part. So now I'm gonna have to find a home for this thing. What's my price point? Is it going to be $500? Can I make money at $500 gluing that up, even on a CNC in minimum hand time? That's what we're minimizing. Just try to minimize our hand time. Can I make money? I kind of doubt it. One, the learning curve, you're going to get faster the more you do it. Do I have enough money to get through the learning curve, get the machine set up, get the dust extraction set up, get through all the EPA requirements for the filters, so how many ever microns your area allows for dust, can I get all that done and keep in compliance? Probably not and make money. Sorry, I got off on a tangent, guys. I don't even know why we got there. But you were talking about teas. So I understand why he's bringing them in. Because to actually manufacture something and make money, I don't see how these companies do it. That's why when I see a guitar made in California, let's talk Kiesel, and you can get a Kiesel, okay, for $2,200. I've seen them as cheap as $1,900, $1,800. Guys, that's stupid cheap. For a custom-made guitar in the United States to that build quality at $2,000, it's kind of how in the world is he doing it? How in the world is he doing it? Kiesel's been around a long time. Their tooling has been there. He's not going out and buying $1 million worth of tooling at one time. They probably have a lot of old tooling. They have a lot of old programs that they can modify. Could he start up from scratch and do it? I kind of doubt it. But he's doing it. And it seems like their business model is working. I've heard some people say they don't really like his attitude or this or that about Jeff Kiesel. He's a businessman. I think he wants to make a great product. And is that product going to stay at that price point? I can't see how it can. I already think he's way below where his product should be. That's just my opinion on a Kiesel. It's just way below where the product needs to be price-wise. And I think I told you all I'm in line for a Jackson. If I spent that money at Kiesel on that Jackson, and believe me, I did. Okay, now the Jackson is foreign made. It's not a Jackson custom shop out of California. So the Jackson's $2,000. If I was going to build that guitar, the closest thing I can get at Kiesel is about 3,100, and it wouldn't have the deep scallop. We're not even talking 27 frets, just a deep scallop 24 fret neck through. I'm going to be at $3,000. When you put the bridge on it, you're going to be at like 32, 33. So you're talking $1,300. Is that a lot of money? Not when you consider it's made in California with all the EPA restrictions and all the employment restrictions that California has. Again, I don't see how he does it. So if someone goes out and buys a Kiesel, that's great. I think you're supporting just like Gibson. Gibson only makes American guitars. Kiesel only makes American guitars. I think they're the only two companies that are, well, I'm sure there's other American guitars. They're the only two name brand companies that are 100% USA. And I get Gibson has Epiphone, they have Kramer, but I'm saying this product, Gibson, is 100% American made. They don't make a Mexican Gibson, they don't make a Korean Gibson, it's American. Where in Fender, you can get Indonesian, Japan, Mexican. I think they actually have some Korean stuff. I'm not too sure, but they're sourced all over now. I know Japan Fender. That's a completely different monster than the Indonesian Fenders, the China Fenders, and the Mexican Fenders in the U.S. Japan has their own market, so the Japan Fenders are completely different than the guitars that we see here most of the time. Well, I think I've talked enough, guys, so I'm going to look at the chat. I'm sure I'm missing a lot. Someone said Schecter model. Colehead, Avery has my Schecter. He's working. Yes, I got Jupe's Schecter, and I'm holding it hostage down in the basement. Sometimes I hear it hollering, "Please help me, help me!" But as of right now, I've got it really tied down, and it's not going anywhere. No middleman to deal with. And Jerry White says, "Howdy, y'all." Cool. Jerry just joined us. Hey, we got some other people come in. I see a thing from Time Surfing Alien. Good to have you in here, man. I was ranting on guitars. I haven't had a good rant in a while, so hopefully that'll push me off the rant for a little while on who makes what and why. So Nicholas says, "Love my Carvins." Yes. Carvin, always wanted a Carvin. I never bought a Carvin. And the big thing was back when Carvin was big. I mean, we do it every day now. We order guitars without playing them. We go to Sweetwater, look at a picture, and we order it. But 25 years ago, to look at a Carvin catalog and go, "Ooh, I want that guitar." And Carvins weren't really that cheap. They were an inexpensive guitar, and it was almost like a mail order guitar. So I never felt comfortable enough to pull the trigger on a Carvin. And I had always heard that the Carvins were good guitars. It had nothing to do with that. It was just pulling the trigger on a guitar that I hadn't played or hadn't been able to actually see the product, just see a picture of. So that always held me back from the Carvins. Now I've played Carvins because now they're old enough. You see some in the store. I know several people that have them. I know they're great guitars. Now I would not have a problem ordering a Kiesel. I really wouldn't. And you hear people say, "Oh, I bought this Kiesel and had this issue." I don't care what you buy. When you do an order, I think it went over it last stream. I'm getting this Jackson. And you always have this anticipation. You're going, "I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this." And the guitar is going to be so awesome. It's going to be flawless. It's going to play like $1,000,000. And then when you get it, you've hyped this thing up so much in anticipation, and you're waiting and you're doing it. And I hear so many people say it's a letdown.
Jerry sent you a link and wants to know if you can open it for everyone to see this RG.
Yes. Let me see if I can open the link. Yes, I can open it. RG 550 Japan for $600 in Jacksonville, Florida. Let me see if I can maximize. Let me go to display screen real quick.
After that, I don't know if you can do it, but Niles sent you an email with pictures of his guitar to your Dominion Fretworks email.
So here's this guitar. Hopefully that's showing up. 1987 Ibanez RG 550 Japan, $600. That is a steel. I'm not sure if that's a factory paint job. Guitar plays great. The body has some bumps and scratches except for the 80s metal guitar. Not interested in trades, no shipping. So if you're in Florida, guys, that's the back of the guitar with a wizard on it. Here's the serial number. Oh, I think I missed a photo. Oh, there's the case. Actually, the case is in really good shape. So there's that one. I'm kind of curious. It doesn't say if that's a factory paint job or not. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's $600. That's not a factory paint job, and that's why the guitar is so inexpensively priced. Because $600 for an '87 RG 550 is ridiculously cheap. Even if it has some bumps, like he's saying it has some bumps and scratches, that's still ridiculously cheap for that guitar. The 86 through 92s just go for stupid money. They were some of the best guitars Ibanez made. You can see made in Japan right there.
Kurt said it's not.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say that that's why it's $600 because of the paint that's been added to the guitar.
Is that a wizard on the back of it?
Yep, that's a wizard on the back of it. I mean, it's cool. Yeah, I mean, at this price point, some people go, "Oh, you shouldn't play it. You're going to damage it." Well, here's an RG you can buy and play the snot out of, and don't have to worry about damaging it. It's I guess collector status has already been ruined because it's been painted. So this one is what I call a player grade. You buy this thing and just play it. That would be considered player grade. And you said Kurt sent something on Teams?
No, not Kurt. Niles. He not on Teams. He sent pictures to your email.
Oh. Uh, that's a little hard to do because of the way my system is. I only have one screen, guys. So I don't have dual screens. If I had a dual screen, I could do email, but my system's not really set up to. Let me see. I'm sure I can. Let me see what I can do here, guys. Email. Let me check my email.
You should be able to do it the same way you do Teams.
Yeah, but I gotta pull it up. It's not really set up. You sent it to Dominion Fretworks?
Yeah, that's what he said.
I'm not seeing it. It may just have not come in. I'll leave the page up and come back and check on it in a little bit.
He's supposed to know.
As of right now, it's not here. Let me hit refresh. No. Let me double check this. Yeah, it's not here, guys. I'll come back and check on it here in a little bit, but as of right now, it's not there. Let me get the chat back up. See, everything's under that one window, so I get confused. So I'm not the world's best at going through all those little different windows. Now I got something weird on the channel activity. Yeah, see, now it's Yeah. Oh, there we go. Um, so how long have we been on? Is it break time? I don't want to push break time because Jerry will get upset.
It's 9:15.
I think it's time for everyone's carnival break, as we call it. That's when we go and get something to drink, use the bathroom, get some refreshments, and that's also a good time for you guys to put stuff in the chat, and that pushes the channel or live stream to whatever you guys want to talk about. I think I've ranted enough on some other things, but we can also go back and check the email and double check and see if that's come through yet. But in the next 5 minutes, let's go over some different topics and see what you guys want to talk about. Go get something to drink, hit the restroom, do all that neat stuff, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Alrighty. I'm still on my smoke break, but I'd figure I'd just go ahead and pop out, and I'm going to ask this one right here. Can I have some coffee, honey?
Sure.
She just zooms by, just meow. Uh, I think I'll take coffee tonight. I got to keep Devastator on his toes. Let me get the chat window back open. I want to say hey to Backwoods Billy. It's good to have you in the chat, man. When I see names that I've seen and we've talked about the live stream and stuff, I know you've been in a couple times before, but it's always good to see people back. Because believe it or not, I pay attention, and there's days where I'll lose a subscriber here or a subscriber there. And I always wonder, well, why did I lose that subscriber? And then I gain subscribers. So the people that I've talked to in the past, we don't always have to agree. Guys, we're never going to agree on everything. Everyone here, I think I've said it a million times, has an opinion and a point of view, and I like hearing those opinions and point of views. It opens up another world to me. And when I hear it, a lot of times I hear a side of the story that I never thought of, whether it's a guitar, an amp, a setup process, filing frets, or haggling over guitar prices. I've had conversations with so many different people about so many different things, and at the end of the conversation, I'm like, I get it. I get that point of view. It may not always be something, okay, I agree with it. Maybe I've tried it and it didn't work for me. That doesn't mean that it won't work for someone else. That's why if you watch some of my videos, some of the things I kind of stick to, like how I tape off a fretboard. And I'll hear people say, well, I have a tool that I put over the fretboard, the little metal pieces that bend. I think those are fine. They don't fit tight to the fret. There's always a gap, okay? Every fret, there's so many different fret wires on the width of the frets. Those things are made to fit multiple guitars. So is it going to fit the fret perfectly? No. So that means you're going to have more cleanup time. Does it work? Sure, it works. I know a lot of people that use those little things. It's like two little rubber bands on the back of it. You put it on the neck, you band it, you work on the fret. It prevents you from scratching your fingerboard. I think it works. For me, I would rather just tape off the neck. I know 100% of that rosewood or Jatoba or eBay or whatever that top of that neck is made out of is 100% protected with tape. And the way I do it, it peels off pretty easy. So you don't end up spending a tremendous amount of time doing it. But I get why people use them. I get the argument. That's why I love the chat section and I love the comment section. I read every comment, guys. If I'm out of time, sometimes I'll just send you a thumbs up or a love. Tap the love thing or the thumbs up. That just means I've read it and I think it's a cool comment. I get it, but I'm pushed for time and or it's not something that I can add to. Sometimes I don't, the person has typed something in that's so complete, I really don't need to add to the comment, if that makes sense. They've summarized whatever they're saying better than I could have done it. So I just put thumbs up, end of it. Hopefully someone else that reads that comment, maybe they have something they can add to it. Sometimes I don't. I just take it and go, oh, cool, thumbs up. So that's my point and all that. I do read and everything that you guys send. I really do. It's a small channel. I can still do that. I'm sure my goal is to continue with YouTube, even though, in my opinion, YouTube is the worst business model ever created. I mean, when I say ever created, it's the worst business model ever created.
Well, did you see the link that Mike sent?
The link that Mike sent.
He said, "Want to laugh? Me in 1984. I'm the guy on the left with the black strap and the torn bed sheet on the arm and head. Why? Not sure."
I'm not sure. I know Mike's privileges are different than Devastator's and Jerry's.
Well, Devastator has already looked at
I have not looked at it yet. What I'm saying as far as sending links, I don't know if Devastator and Jerry can do that. Mike has pretty much 100% permission to do anything he wants in this channel. So if you guys come in one day and there's something new or unique, Mike has the ability. He has never done it.
Well, Jerry Dover sent that Facebook link.
Okay, well then Jerry has the ability to see. I'm not sure how it works. There's different degrees. Mike's level, I think, is the same as Linnell's. Is the way it's set up. And we had originally talked, Mike and I, about kind of putting some of his stuff on there and just kind of doing whatever. And Mike has his own channel, so I never pushed it, but he's more than welcome to upload anything that he wants to upload as far as amp repair or whatever. He's more than welcome to.
Whatever it is.
And if I put up a video, let's say I put it up and it doesn't post, Mike can go to the channel itself, log in, and watch it pre-post before it hits YouTube. I know that's one of his privileges. So I need to look into it more, guys. Just like I want to do a stream where we have multiple people talking on multiple screens. It's just, again, YouTube is a horrible business model. And whatever I've changed in the last 3 months, or the AI on YouTube has seen the change on the channel, and it's no longer smacking me in the face like it did for about 4 or 5 months when I made the major change. YouTube doesn't want you to change. This channel kind of changed from just doing reviews and stuff to doing live and reviews. So it really penalized me. When I say it penalized me, it penalized me. And it's just now getting to the point where YouTube is seeing, okay, we get what the channel's doing, and the AI has figured out where to put my channel, where it thinks it would be grow. I know a lot of people, I do it. I downgrade the AI system. But also I talk to bigger channels. I think if you stick and you understand it, YouTube is far smarter than we are. They want people to watch your video. So they do want your video to succeed. The problem with it is you have to make sure you do it right in the first 24 hours. Because after 24 hours, your video is going to level off. That's just how it is. So if it's gaining traction, okay, and it's going up, it's got to be more, from what I hear, 100 views an hour for that video to continue getting traction after 24 hours. If it's not on 100 views per hour, it's going to level it off. It's not that it's not going to promote it. It's just not going to push it like it did during the first 24 hours. And that's fine. But I can't, I'm still paying, like, I had to do X. Because I'm like I said, guys, I work for my money too. And you guys know, well, we buy a lot of guitars here. And I roll through a lot of guitars. I didn't have the money to necessarily do some of the changes that I needed to change to get the live stream going. So I think I have like 2 more payments left on my AG08 and some other things that I purchased to get the live stream as good as it is now. Is it perfect? It's far from perfect. But it was far better than if you go back and watch my very first live stream. The audio was very bad. The video was very bad. Didn't have, I was using all YouTube to live stream. Didn't have OBS, didn't have anything set up. So it has gotten better. So I got to look at YouTube as a business model and what it gives back to me. So I don't want to make too many changes right now. We're just starting to swing back and getting subscribers like I was 7-8 months ago. It's still not like it was. I was getting between 80 to 150 subscribers a month. But my view was 80% unsubscribed. Now, I hear a lot of channels, and I've talked to one other channel since I figured this out. Believe it or not, and a lot of people, I may have to even show it because he couldn't believe it. I may have to even show it to prove it to you guys. We are at 40%. 40% unsubscribed. That's it. Now, whether that's YouTube not pushing it and my viewership is coming from subscribers, which I have no problem with that. But I'm at 40%. Not 80% of my views are unsubscribed, only 40%. And it's been that way for the last 3 months. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I hear a lot of YouTubers say 80% aren't subscribed, but they're not subscribing. So in my case, I'm at 40% unsubscribed. So most of my views are coming from people that have seen this channel. So that means whatever I'm doing, whether it's the detailed videos or just the way I talk or break it down, at least people are coming back. And I'm sure this is not everyone's cup of tea. That's why there's so many channels out there. But I really do try to cater to everybody. I try to, even the reviews, they've gotten the way they are because people have asked for certain things. I can't do everything, guys, because it's bad enough my guitar reviews are an hour and 45 minutes. If I did everything everyone asked for, it would be a 3 or 4 hour review. There are other really good review channels, but they hop through it. They go right to ohms, right to this, and they're not really showing you the in-between. And that does make my videos longer, but I also think that's kind of what makes them interesting. It's not what everyone else does. Now on an hour, or let's say a 2 hour review, an hour and 45 minute review, YouTube says that I get 25 to 30 minutes average view time. In reality, I would say that's pretty good. That means I'm getting 25% or 30% of my video was watched on a 2 hour review. What I hear on a 30 minute, they get 5 minutes. So that percentage ratio isn't as good as what I'm seeing, if that kind of makes sense. Even though they're only watching 25%, and I kind of go, wow, that was a lot of work for someone just to watch 25% of the video. It's still more traction than I saw at the beginning, if that makes sense. I don't think it'll ever get better than that, but that's what I've been seeing. What I think is impressive is 40%. Only 40% of the people that are watching are unsubscribed. I don't think I've heard anyone on YouTube say their analytics is that low on that.
Searching for Tone said the smaller channel, the higher number you want unsubscribed viewing. Hopefully they do subscribe.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you, Searching for Tone. I could see where you'd want unsubscribed viewers. And I had that for a long time, 80% unsubscribed. But the channel went through a pretty, like a change. I never did live streams. Everyone took the channel, I guess, as a very, well, I think you did, Searching for Tone. You did a video, and I never really reached out to you and asked you why. You did a video on up-and-coming channels. And from what I understand, from what I think you told me, you deliberately left this channel out. I don't know if it was because of the way the production worked on this channel, or you thought the channel was different, or I was unreachable because I didn't do lives, or there was a side of me that thought maybe everyone thought the channel was too serious. And I didn't mean to necessarily come across, but I wanted it to be serious. I didn't want to be, there's a couple guitar channels that are just really lighthearted, goofy, and that's their thing. They're sniffing Freddies. I don't sniff Freddies. I don't need to sniff Freddies, but if that's your thing and you want to make a joke of it, I get it. It's kind of funny. But at some point, I just didn't want to cross that bridge, if that makes sense. I didn't want to make light of it because I wanted it to be serious. Because when someone goes out and spends, whether it's $200, $300, $400, $500, whatever it is, I wanted them to look at this channel and go, okay, this guy's just giving us the facts, okay, and that's it.
Niles has to
Okay, Niles. Thank you so much, man, for coming in. Niles, you come each time, and thank you 100% for coming into the live streams. Everyone knows here that the people in the chat is what makes the channel work. You guys drive the conversation. So I never really reached back out to you, man, to find out why I was kind of left out on that. I think Birdman had made a comment on the last live stream that you had a guitar with a Floyd Rose that you might need some help on. So I don't know if word got back to you, but if you need a hand with it, just reach out to me. I'd be more than glad to work on the bridge for you or give you some pointers on it. I'm really good with Floyd Roses. I'm really good with Kahlers. So if you need assistance with it, don't feel like you can't reach out.
He said no. It was I literally just came across your channel back then, so it was still new to me.
Yeah. I didn't. I never. I don't. That's something that you guys will. I will never degrade another channel. I might say that I didn't want to cross that bridge, just like I just said, but I get it. I watch Philip McKnight. Everyone knows, and there's certain things Philip McKnight does that I'm kind of like, but I get it because I met Phil in person at Sweetwater, and that's just Phil, if that makes sense. Phil is just kind of a goofy, loses track of time, and his wife has to say, hey, you have things to do, stop chatting, get your butt in gear. And that's exactly what she did when we were at Sweetwater. She was like, oh, Phil, come on, because she knows he's like me. He's just going to sit there and blah, 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 and we're going to lose track of time. And that's what happened. And she pretty much had to pull him away. So I get when now after seeing Phil and meeting with him and talking with him, I guess I get his channel more, if that makes sense. So there was a side of me that thought, well, maybe I'm too serious when I do the reviews and people think, oh, this guy's just blam, 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 blam. But I have been, everyone knows I'm an Adventist. I have been very blessed with the gift of gab. I'm very blessed in so many fashion, guys. I know some people can't do what I do. And it's not about talent. It's just having the ability to go out and buy guitars and stuff. I have worked hard my whole life, and I have worked hard, and now I'm in a position where I can kind of try to reap some of those benefits, if that makes sense. And I don't want that time to pass me by. I'm at the point in my life where I'm still capable of playing pretty well. I'm not so old where the tendonitis and stuff is getting to me, and I'm still young enough to really enjoy it, be able to play and work. So I want to capitalize on that. A lot of people's like, well, when I retire, I'm going to do this. Well, by the time we retire, sometimes our motor functions, our ability to think, all that stuff starts going downhill the older we get. So I'm a firm believer if you have the ability to live within your means and enjoy something, and in our case, that's music. We really need to enjoy things. Just like pets increase our life. If you have a pet, you'd be surprised. I talk to my dog all the time. He's not even here. He's in with little one. But I sit there and I talk to Woofy just like he's a person. If I'm having a bad day, that's what I do. And what do we do when we feel bad? We pick up our guitar and we that's where the blues comes from. We put our expressions and our feeling into our music, and I think that gets it out of our system. I think that's healthy. Pets, music, stuff we enjoy. Try to keep that in your life. Live full, and pray that you can have someone that's supportive behind you. Behind every successful person, right in there, guys, you have someone that backs you, supports you, and loves you. And again, I'm blessed. I have that. I have someone that loves me, she backs me, and she's 100% with me. And when we're struggling, financially or whatever, health-wise, we're right there together. She went through my knee surgery. I've went through her heart issues where she had cut, they put the big thing in here, and there's a heart monitor over there. So if her heart, stops working or has an issue, it alarms me. Um, we get through it. So I guess that's the end of that rant. It's just don't let things, I guess, bug you too much. And I was getting that way with YouTube. I was getting to the point where I was so set. I got to have subscribers. I got to have this. I got to have that. And now I don't even view it as that, because I come here on Thursday nights and Friday nights, and I watch the chat and I see people, and I know I'm contributing something. Okay, is it the best? I hope it is. I hope I'm doing the best I can do. But I definitely see that I've created something where people can come in, they can be themselves, number one. They can talk openly, okay? And they can all share an opinion. And knock on wood, so far, we have not really had any problems, whether it's in the comment section or the chat window. We've only had one troll in 2 years. And I would say, on average, that is freaking awesome for YouTube.
Devastator said, I don't trust Lori being behind me. She's dirty.
Oh my gosh. I trust Linnell. Now she'll do little rabbit ears and all kinds of stuff behind me, but that's fine. That's yeah, well that's probably, like I said, it's not. I just haven't caught her doing the other things.
Jerry said, in other words, as we say in the South, Avery can talk the horns off a billy goat.
Exactly. I'm from the South, so that's probably where I got the regurgitation of the mouth thing from.
Jerry told Devastator dirty girls are the best.
That's right. So going back, I didn't point out Penagor's here, Birdman's here. I'm looking back. Mikey, I saw a comment from Mikey, so I'm giving a shout out to Mikey. I don't know whether he's still in the chat or not.
Yeah, he just...
But I definitely like to, when I see the name, say something. And I know Searching for Tone's got something cool on his live streams. I haven't seen him an email, but somehow he gets his little chat messages to come up on the screen and they can chat and do it. Believe it or not, guys, I might be good at fixing guitars, being a luthier. I might be good at writing things, and I might be good at programming CNC machines. But when I watch other live streams and I see little things like that, I'm like, how's he doing that? It can't be difficult. How's he doing that? These little things I see, and I'm always curious. I'm always wanting to learn. But that's something that I think that's cool. I see a lot of channels doing that now, where the chat window, I guess they click on something and that message comes up on the main screen. I haven't looked into doing it. I think that's cool. Right now, all I have is my little chat window on the right, so I kind of look at that and kind of, he says it's a program called I don't even know how you pronounce it, EVMUX. I'm so bad at technology, it makes it easy. You and me both, brother.
He thinks it's under 300 a year.
Yeah, that's what's funny. People go, what do you mean you're bad at technology? You program CNC machines. Yes, I do. But keep in mind, guys, I took AutoCAD 12 with 3D. This was in 1990, 91. So when I was learning PLC and CAM, it was in its infant stage. I remember programming CNC machines, and you didn't go up. You didn't go up to the CNC with a I don't even have one here, with a flash card, like a little USB stick. You went up and you literally had, it looked like a punch-out card from the old time machines. It was a big cardboard card that had holes cut in it. And you'd literally feed that into the machine, and the machine would read it. And it was very basic programming. When I say basic, it was a card with holes punched in it. And these holes would tell the machine what to do. In college, we literally made a couple of these cards, and we had to have the PLC, CNC do certain things. The day of putting a flash drive, loading a program to this flash drive and going up to a machine and just putting the flash drive in the machine and having 500 pages of code load to the machine and then you just hit start. That's only been really in the last 15 years, maybe 18 years, because before that it was a drive. You recorded things on the drive, and you had maybe a Farnark or an Allen Bradley control, and you could do offsets. Like once the cutter head started getting dull, you could offset your cutter, but to go into the program right at the machine and say, okay, this bit's been sharpened twice, it's off 128th of an inch. Okay, so I need to do cutter compensation at 1/28th or 0.0, whatever in metric you would do the conversion, depending if you're running Mastercam or whatever you have the system set up at. Now we can just do an offset, and it'll offset the whole program. And when I say 300 pages of programming, bam, your offset's done. All your radial curves, your up, your down, everything. It's instant. Before, you couldn't do that. You had to go in and manually change those offsets and redo the whole program. Here, 2 or 3 days of programming. Now we can just go right in, couple buttons, hit, start, go, and the difference in things is tremendous.
Jerry said, what AutoCAD are you wanting to use on home PC?
Right now, I'm running AutoCAD 2025. And it's not LT. I run a full version of CAD. So I can extrude models. I can do full renderings in solids. A lot of people go, well, I draw in solids. It's not a solid. If you're not extruding it and uniting it together, it's not a solid. So if you're using meshes or surfaces, you cannot run that over to Mastercam and use a 3.5, 4-axis, 5-axis, or 7-axis machine. You can do 2.5 CNC, but you can't do solids because it doesn't read it as a solid. Let's say this cup here is a solid. Okay. CAD sees it as a solid. So if I do a tool path through it and it cuts through it, it's still a solid. If it's not a solid and it's a mesh, once the tool goes through it, it's empty space in here. Does that kind of make sense? It didn't remove material in here. It just removed the mesh, the skin. So if you're doing a guitar body or something solid, and I want to route this pocket with a depth and an offset, this has to be a solid. It has to be modeled as a solid. That way I can write a tool path to cut this out. Or as I go around the body, okay, I have 2 options. If my finger's the cutter, do I want a ramp? Okay, a ramp means the cutter's going to go down as it moves. Or do I want to come off, spin the cutter in a circle, and in that circle ramp down to my new depth and then back in? So here's my cutter. It's going around, it's going around, it's going around, it's going around, into the pocket, back out. It ramps out, circle, does my depth plunge back in. You can do that, or you can just do a ramp where the cutter starts to ramp. The problem with a ramp is when you reach your depth in your ramp and now you're just cutting the side surface, okay, your engagement in the tool is not the same, okay, because now only the side of my finger, the side of the cutter is engaged. The bottom of the cutter, okay, is engaged. It's removing material on the face side, but not the back side, because it's staying at the same elevation. As soon as I ramp that cutter and I go down, that changes the pressure, okay? And we call that run out, how much play is in the tool, okay? As soon as that cutter gets to depth and it's solid on the depth, your run out changes in your machine. So if you're going to do a ramp, if you want to go down, let's say 1/4 inch from here down to your new ramp, you need to do a 1/4 inch from here to here. So it's going to drop a 1/4 inch in its full cycle. Okay, when he gets here, it's always in the same engagement. Okay, because your ramp never changes. It's always ramping down until it penetrates through the material into your spoil board. Your spoil board's your material under whatever you're cutting. So once you get through your material, your spoil board needs to be a similar density as to the material that you're cutting. Does it have to be? No. It should be, because it changes the ratio in which the cutter's being engaged into the material that you're cutting. Everything makes a difference. When I'm looking at guitars and I'm looking at step overs or step downs, this would be a step down mark, or step overs, that's where the tooling, where the cutter comes across and then over, those are step overs. When you start seeing variations in the step over, that's usually an engagement issue. That means they're not engaging the wood surface at a continuous factor all the way through the cycle. It's either that or the machine, the end play in the shaft itself when the cutter is bad. Maybe the thrust bearings are bad or the cone bearings are bad, but usually it's an engagement issue. And I see that a lot in smaller run budget guitars. Now, why is that? Because they're only running 100 guitars. Okay? These smaller companies send over and they're going, okay, we want to build this. Well, they don't have time to get that program right. So they get it very close and they run them. When you get into, like, say, Ibanez, Kramer, and they've made that guitar production run after production run after production run after production run, they should, with each production run, look at whatever problem they had in the programming and make small changes. It's like buying a first-year car. If Ford, Chevy, I don't even care if it's a Toyota, you never, ever, ever buy a first-year model run of anything. I don't care who made it. There's going to be problems. There's too many parts. The parts count on something like that's too high to have a 100% success ratio. Let them build the first 1,000 or 50,000 of that product. Let the product go out, see where the product fails, let them make some changes, and then buy the second production run. That's just how business works. You don't see that in Firefly. You don't see a change when they release the guitar the next time, especially Leo James. Sometimes the product gets worse. How can the product get worse if you've already made the product? That's a good question. Does that mean Leo James sourced it from someone else? Or did the people at the plant change? I went from 2 different monsoons. Each monsoon had different problems, but they both had equally bad problems. If you took both guitars and put them together, okay, the good and the bad, you put all the good on both guitars to one guitar, they still had fret problems. The issue with Leo James was they didn't correct a problem. Let's say you had 5 problems. They may have corrected 2 of those problems, but now they got 2 new problems that the first gen model didn't have, so they still have 5 problems. That to me is why I don't recommend Leo James. I do recommend Firefly because even though they have a bad apple here or there, I have progressively seen their product get better over the years. I'm not saying that they don't have bad products. They've had some bad apples. But continuously the product seems to get better. Their routing has seemed to get better. Their fretwork has seemed to get better. Their overall glue and joinery and fit and finish has gotten better. And the overall quality of the hardware has gotten better over the last 4 years. Leo James, I can't say that. Their quality of components sometimes get better, sometimes it's not. Sometimes they have issues with the bore and the neck pockets. They're just kind of all over the place. That's why when I tell people, I hope you get a good one. Because what I've seen, it's just not a company that is fixing problems. They fix some and then they create new ones, if that makes sense. That's why I was talking earlier that I'm so impressed with this guitar. That at this price point, I really can't say anything negative about it. Is this the guitar for me? Everyone knows I like a floating bridge. It doesn't have a floating bridge. So this is not the perfect guitar for me. But I really like the guitar. Uh, it is a just a well crafted, well done guitar. And this is what we should see, guys. I mean, Ibanez has learned. And I'm sure there's other budget companies. I hear that AOI or AO or whatever it is. I hear that they make good guitars and they've progressively gotten better. Agile guitars, I've heard that they've progressively gotten better. I don't see too much from Agile anymore. I don't know if the company has just kind of said, we're not going to push the market anymore. We're gonna make our kooky 7 and 8 strings, and we're gonna make our Les Paul copy. But at one time, Agile was making great products at a great price. I just don't see anybody really talking about Agile anymore. I don't. I don't even know if they're still in business. They could be, but I guess that's the end of the next rant. I don't know. I'm just chatty tonight, guys. I'm not reading the chat.
Jerry said bend the neck.
Bend the neck. You want me to bend the neck? I haven't done that with this guitar, but I'm sure that it is willing to do it. Let's see how much neck bend we can get out of this thing. And if I break it, honey, I'll buy you a new one. Like a tremolo. There you go. I don't want to do much more than that. But it's definitely capable of it. YouTube is not the best. I wish you guys could just play this thing. This is just an impressive little guitar. It's effortless on the harmonics. Something else I've noticed, a lot of times I don't get a good solid sound on higher registers. It's very easy to get those. It's very easy, guys. I don't do much really high, but if I wanted to and I suck at this kind of stuff. I don't know if it's the way the frets cut, but I've noticed that it's very easy to. Very easy. And I'm sure if I played this guitar longer, I could get much better at. And I'm trying to play out of my box, stuff that I don't normally do, and I don't usually play this way. So for me to just go. It's one of those things. I think Jupe said that he went to the store and played one of these. I don't know if he can chime in and give his interpretation of it, but I don't know.
Jupe said if you keep doing that, you may not need the dentist.
I'll sit, guys, and you guys are gonna laugh, but I'll sit and just do this and watch TV. And I'll just go back and forth. Maybe I'll change the note and I'll just. I don't know. It's not a Dorian. I don't even know what you would call that style. Right? I find myself playing more like that, if that makes sense. And I know a lot of guys, they'll say, I see, and you can shred doing that kind of stuff. That's how long it's been since I played those standard scales. I just don't find myself doing that. I don't find myself playing in the box right here. I find myself doing more. Remember, it's the same note pattern. It's how you approach it. I don't know. I don't like doing too much of that stuff, guys, because one, uh, Linnell helped me dig it out last night. I got a piece of metal in my finger. So as I was doing that, I was also gritting my teeth going, because every time I was pushing on the strings, that little piece of metal was poking my finger. And I dug at it, and I dug at it, and I dug at it, and I dug at it last night, and I still can't get it out. So I've ended up putting a small hole in my finger. That's the main reason why I haven't played too much tonight. Is I've got a really bad piece of metal. How many people here have picked up drywall screws? And I wasn't using drywall screws, but drywall screws will have these little flakes of metal. And you'll put the screw in your finger and you spin it up in the drill and that little piece of metal will get stuck. That's basically what's in my finger. We were doing some cabinet hardware, and normally cabinet hardware doesn't have that problem with the screws, but it's the only thing that I could have think of that I was working on Friday that I kind of got this little piece of metal fragment in my finger. And I'm sitting here playing, especially when I bend, when I do this stuff, it really, it really hurts. That right there is killing me. So in reality, I'm actually doing pretty good tonight, considering I have an injured finger. But the show must go on, isn't that what they say? Hey, try pulling it out with tape. It doesn't always work, but sometimes. You know, I tried last night, and we were pushing on it, and I thought I had it. I was seeing the black, and it was a two-person operation. I had my finger like this. Linnell's got her finger in there, and she's got the tweezers, and she can't grab it. So I'm like, well, heck with it. I'm going to get some toenail clippers, and I take the edge of the toenail clipper, and I put the cutter part right over where the piece is sticking out, and I push, and I just literally went to cut the skin, and hopefully the black piece was in that chunk of skin, and I pulled it. And I did that twice, and I've got a chunk of finger missing now, and guess what? The black thing is still it's still in my finger. So at this point, I'm just going to let it fister out, and hopefully it'll work its way out. That's it. So can you put this thing on maximum, the magnetic, just right onto the screen? Do you have any metal on you, sir? No, nothing but this metal splinter in my finger. Sir, you can't enter the MRI with that piece of metal in your finger.
Juke said just smash the finger with a hammer and the metal will pop out.
Oh, yeah, I've done that before. That's the worst thing when you're trying to do something and you miss, and you just full force, bam, hammer on the finger, and it turns every color other than white.
Fox said sometimes he uses a sewing needle to poke it out.
Yeah, I had a pair of the military tweezers that had the really sharp point. Those things were stupid good, but I ended up losing them, and I don't know what I did with them. They were about this long, and they come to just a super sharp point, and you could grab little items with them, and they were great for that. The tweezers we have now have a flat spot. They go down and they flatten out. The problem is where it clips, you can look at it. It's kind of cut like this, like it's rounded. So unless it's quite tall, it won't grab it because it's not to a point where it grabs and pinches. So they're pretty much useless. So,
Fox said I try and talk my coworkers into holding the nails for me.
no, yeah, well, I think my coworkers know better than that. That would not be good. And Devastators, how's that work out, Vox? Probably not too good for the coworkers. I'm sure Vox finds it very amusing. Oh my gosh, that's awful. Yeah, so I'm kind of struggling with it. But I was trying to doctor it last night. I said, well, if I can get it out, I'll put peroxide on it, and it'll heal enough in the next 13, 14, day to where I'll be okay. And it's still quite sore. But I was able to manage tonight. But that reminds me, I definitely, while you guys chat, can you guys give me just a couple minutes? I want to look up this guitar that Linnell, guys, this is going to put Linnell at 4 guitars. I'm just saying. She's going to be at the 4 guitar. She's going to be at the 4 guitar thing. Sweetwater.
Didn't they say it was an S6?
What model was it?
I think he said it was an S6.
An S6?
I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
S6. Ibanez. Well, a bunch of acoustic come up under S6.
I think it's an S67, I think.
S67?
Yeah.
S67 Ibanez.
Yeah, I found it.
Yep, it's an S67. Oh, does yours have? Yours doesn't have 3 pickups. It's just 2 pickups.
Yeah, just 2.
So it's not an S67.
I thought that's what he said.
The one. I'll go ahead and share my screen since we're digging for this. We can dig for it together. So the top on the guitar looks really similar to this model, but it has the pickups configuration like, now this might be the one that they were telling me about. They said they had one with a bridge
Maybe.
that was really, really, really thin. Yep. But the reason I don't want this one, it has the center pickup. So I want the configuration like the RGA. So I guess we should just look under Ibanez then. Ibanez.
It might be a S65.
S65. Well, I'm scrolling through them all right here, and I'm going to stop when I see it. So this is the Ibanez stuff. I like this guitar. I just don't see $3,500 there, guys. It is a sweet guitar, but I can't do $3,500 for that guitar. All right, it's not on the first page, honey. Going to the second page.
It's the same as my blue one, right?
The body's a little different than the RGA. I was thinking it was considered an RGA series. Now, guys, I can't see the chat window because it's not up. So if you guys have found it, I can't see that if someone else is.
Is this it?
What model number do you have? Manel may have found it.
Is that it?
That may be. It's RGA 42 FM.
I know it said S6 on it. Even he said S6.
I don't think that's it. I think it's this. I think that's this guitar with. She found an RGA 42 FM, but that's not the guitar. This one, the body's extremely thin one.
Where's the receipt?
Did someone find it? It has the guitar jack comes in sideways on it. So I'm trying to find the guitar that she put on layaway today. I guess I should have done this before the stream.
Try S6
An
QM.
an S621
QM.
QM. Says sorry, can't find anything. An S62.
That's a guitar song.
All right. Well, let me.
I don't know if that's it or not.
My computer's not cooperating. All right. Ibanez. S62QM. She found something really similar. Yeah, but I've got the right model number right here, right? S62 621.
Yeah, 621 QM.
Yeah, nothing's coming up. I don't know. She's found it on her phone, guys, and that is the model number.
It's a guitar song.
Well,
One I found. But it's for $3.39. It's used.
it looks similar to that.
It's used.
I don't know. I may have to post that later, guys. I'm not seeing it.
Where's the receipt?
I don't know where the receipt is.
Is it in the truck?
It might be out in the truck.
Oh,
She's gonna go out in the truck and see what it actually is. Does anyone have an idea? Has anyone been doing the search? I gotta find the chat window now. This is why I don't mess with it too much, guys, because it really messes up the chat window. Yeah, I can't find it. She's going to go out and get the receipt, and we're going to look at what the model number is. But basically, it's very similar to this. The body's extremely thin right here. It has a quilted maple top, and instead of the jack going in here on the side, it goes in on an angle right here. And it's not a chrome jack like a Fender. It's milled into the wood. But the headstock and everything's pretty much the same on it. Birdman says TS9, I think. I have a TS9. Yep, this is my TS9. And believe it or not, guys, if I had to pick between this one and my Lancelot pedal, I would take the Lancelot over the Ibanez. I don't know where my other pedal is. I'm looking for it. I did a review on it. If you guys want a nice boost and hair pedal to play air music, look at the Lancelot by Joyo. Or I think it's called Dr. J, that one, which is Joyo. It's an awesome pedal. I don't see it out here right now. I don't know where that could have went. But I find that pedal to be a little better than the TS9. Now the TS9 is like industry standard, so I'm looking up here for it. I'm not seeing it. I don't know where that pedal has migrated to. I'm looking. It might be downstairs with the other amplifier. But if you have the opportunity to play the Lancelot by Joyo, Dr. J, awesome pedal. I think it's a little more user friendly than the TS9, if that makes sense. She went out looking for the receipt, but she might be out there lost. I'm still looking for the pedal. I don't see it. But you go back to my channel. My channel's divided by accessories, pedals, amps, and I haven't done that many pedal reviews, so it's pretty easy to find it. The Lancelot review. One second, guys. I'm going to look over here for it. It's got to be here. That's the Black Star pedal. Just not seeing it. It's not a big room. I don't know where it could have disappeared to. It's just pretty much the desk. This area. Did you find the receipt?
No, unless you folded it up and put it in your pocket.
Did I fold it up and put it in my wallet?
In your pocket, maybe.
I don't think I did. Oh, look, it might be in my pocket, honey. It might be. Let's see what she got. Yes, here's the receipt, honey. What do they say this thing is? They're saying it's an S621QM-DEB. Well, it's not showing up on Sweetwater. So let me try to find that guitar elsewhere.
S6 what?
They're saying it's an S621QM-DEB. So I'm going to do a search on it here. I'm just going to type it right into the main search window. Ibanez S621
That's it.
QM-DEB.
It's the one I showed you at Guitar Center.
Well, Sweetwater, that guitar. All right. So here's one picture. Now, see, that's an awful picture. I've got a picture of it. I just don't want to show that. I would rather find a listing of it. Well, here's okay. We'll use this one. They only have one picture.
DEB stands for Dragon Eye Burst.
Yeah. Can you guys see the screen now? So this is the guitar she just picked up. That's the headstock, back of the guitar. Yep, that's it. Mahogany back. So everyone's saying brand new $499. So I think we got a good deal. Let's see if one of these other ones have more pictures. Yeah, here's a good picture of it. This body, guys, is stupid thin right here. So that's the neck. Headstock. And it's got that little truss rod cover that slides back and forth. There's the back of the headstock. And it does have a scarf joint right here. So there is a scarf joint just like the RGA. And it is the one down there is a three-piece body. So there's a center section and with two wings that's glued together.
Birdman said, can we see it or hear it, or did she hide it from you?
No, it's showing 5 pounds, 7.6 ounces. So again, it's a stupid light guitar. We don't have it yet, Birdman. Yeah, it's on layaway. So we do not have it yet. But that's the guitar she's going to start making payments on. The only thing that I think is a little strange on it that I'm not sure why they did it is this plastic thing over the three-way switch right here. That's the only thing that kind of turns me off on the guitar. Just that one little item. And I'm not sure why they have done it that way unless the body is so thin. They have routed a pocket right here. And this piece is made into this and it screws in. I can't see why if it's routed from underneath. I'll know more once I get the guitar and I open up the back cavity. I don't know why they couldn't have cut a slit and ran the two screws through the wood to the plate of the switch.
Yeah, that's the guitar right there.
But that's the only thing that I think's a little peculiar on it is this cover over this 5-way switch. You can see it right there. But the top on the guitar is gorgeous. This quilted top is just, they're calling it Dragon Eye Burst. It is just a beautiful top. Yeah, they didn't really have a direct picture of it. This picture's the kind of dull looking. But the top is just so sharp looking. The way the flame looks. It's not considered flame. I said it'd be more of a quilted top. And this is not necessarily a shadow line. See this white line right here? This is something to do that the guitar she just put on layaway has this as well. This is something to do with the laminated top. I want to say that they've put a veneer substrate underneath that quilted top, and when it's machined down, it leaves this white, there's a white stripe all the way around the guitar, and it's a very thin white stripe. It's actually quite cool. It's almost like they've got the mahogany body, then they've laminated this white to the body, whether that's a polymer. It's most likely a polymer. They've glued that down and then glued the quilted maple top to that. And as they sand it, it reveals that white laminate. I don't think that's a binding. I think it's something in the lamination. Right here, it just kind of looks like the light, but it's not. That's a white stripe all the way around the guitar. And it's very thin. It's less than a 16th. I would probably say it's 3/64, something like this thick on the binding edge. It's quite sharp. So as soon as we get that guitar, we'll play it for you guys. But that's what she put on layaway today, which I find funny. I'm trying to get the chat window back open. I find it kind of funny. I made a comment down there. I said, honey, you only have about 20 some more guitars to go and you'll be as bad as me. Ha! So, I think she's picked a good brand. I think she's latched onto this Ibanez. And I can't fault her. For the price point, we're getting that guitar for $450 if I didn't say it already.
Duke said it's a nice looking guitar. He just doesn't care for the jack placement.
You know, it is a little strange. I think if they made that guitar, the two improvements I would do on that guitar is take that. See how this one's done? It doesn't have that piece of plastic. They just have the switch going through the wood. See that? I would rather have the switch like this. And you might be able to do that with that guitar. That could be just like a little plastic trim cover. You might be able to just take it off, put the screws back through it, and expose the top. We'll check that out. But I think instead of having the jack on this side, take the back side of the guitar and put the jack to where it's doing the exact same thing, but on the back of the guitar, like this, coming out on the back. Because as you're playing, if it's poking out like that, it's not going to be in your way setting on your lap. It's not going to be on your way with your strap. Plugs in the back, and then that would leave this part of the guitar open. I think that would be cool too. But I'm sure there's a reason why they're doing it that way. Who knows? But those are the two things that I would like to see. But if I could get that guitar with a Goto low pro bridge, that's the low profile Goto bridge where the tuners sit low, it would have to be a short block bridge because it's a real thin body. So it's probably going to be a 28 millimeter block, maybe even a 26 millimeter block to get this. It's so thin, I don't know how much room you would have for the springs and stuff in there. It would be really, really, really tight to have a spring cavity and the uh, pickup route. The advantage is these pickups are sticking way out of the guitar. Okay? So you're not going to have to do a route back here for the bridge because you're going to have to run these posts up on the bridge anyway for this bridge to get this string elevation. Does that make sense? So you're already going to be high and the guitar is thinner. You're still got to route a half inch here. I don't know how much room you would actually have back here for a tremolo cavity. That would be tight. You may even have to completely route this all the way through the guitar to where if you took the pickup out and took the cover off, you could see through the guitar. I don't think there would be any meat left in that route by the time you routed the rear pocket and this pocket. But I would be curious to see that guitar. They did tell me they had a guitar that had that body with a bridge. I'm going to do some research and I may consider something like that. But good news is when she gets that guitar, that gives me full license to play this guitar more often. I know that's bad. It's a nice looking guitar. Just don't care for the juke. Like we just said that. Yeah. Nice one, Linnell. Yeah, I think it'll be a sharp guitar for her. For whatever reason, she has really come back around to playing again. There for a while, she wasn't doing too much. So she's come around to playing again and getting back into it. Maybe it's the YouTube and her getting involved in the other room with the chat and stuff. It's got her motivated to play again. And I've went through that phase too where I've kind of decreased the amount of playing that I do and attention. And then I'll have resurgence where all I want to do is play, 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 play. So I think she's on one of the resurgence. She's getting back into it, playing more and more and more. She's definitely, all the amp tones that you guys have been hearing for the last 3 weeks have been her amplifier. So far she's batting 1,000. This little Yamaha amp is phenomenal. I'm coming right out of the headphone jack to the interface. It's just a good sounding amplifier. I would have no issues at all taking, well, think about it, guys. All right, this guitar news 450, and that amp's 325. I mean, that's awesome. So you're looking at what, $800? Yeah, basically $800 to get this sound. That's in my opinion, that's pretty good. You've got an amp that's actually quite loud. It's a 20-watt amp. But if you were going to play out live somewhere, you just come right out of the headphone jack to the PA. And you've got all the power you need. I'm going to have to give her credit on two things. If you're in the $300 price range and you want a stereo amp that just sounds nice, this little THX10 Yamaha desktop amp,
X or R?
or it's an R or something. It's a little desktop amp. Here, let me switch cameras here. I'm pretty sure everyone's already seen it. The little amplifier right there, little Yamaha amp. You can see, look, no tricks. The cord goes right into that amplifier, and you'll see the little cord on the top of that goes right over to my interface, which goes to my computer, right to you guys. So I'm going to give this guitar and that amplifier the thumbs up for a bunch of stuff. I have the Katana Gen 2 50 watt. I think it's a great amp. My issue with the Katana was when you got into the reverb and the delays and stuff, you couldn't fine tune them unless you used the app. So if you went somewhere and you didn't have your phone or your computer on that model, you had to have a computer because that was before they integrated the Bluetooth to add the module to where you could connect your phone to it. So you had to connect it to the computer to get in there and do all your fine tuning. With this one, you just literally go up and you can adjust the knob right on the unit. You've got most of your controls right on top. Can you have more control through the app? Yes, you can. If you plug it up, there are more controls. You can change the sweep angle or the milliseconds of the delay, the compression, all these little things that make delay or reverbs and stuff do certain things. But the basic controls, the effect and the amount is directly on top. You can make the change really quick. You can just go up, make the change, and you're done. Much more easier to do than the Katana. Now the new Katana, I still think you're limited on the panel as far as what you can control on the fly. So, and this amp's smaller too. It takes up a lot less space. It's not as loud as the Katana, but I think if you put both of them side by side, I'm picking this amp over the Katana every time. Like I said, I've been using it, and right here, guys, you can see I've got right there is my HX Stomp, and I can plug into the HX Stomp. All I have to do is take that orange cord and I plug it in, and it's going to the exact same channel on my AG08 as the Yamaha. But it does more, it has more. It's just easier to get a quick sound that sounds, in my opinion, I think it sounds better than the Line 6. And that's just me being able to program the Line 6 capable of a great sound. But something just quick, easy setup, go for doing live streams, I can't. So far, I'm loving the little Yamaha. I'm sure the Line 6 is fine. It's just, I think it's overly complicated for doing something simple. Doing this, we want to have fun. I don't want to spend a lot of time working on guitar signals. I want to plug my guitar into it, turn up the gain, turn up a little reverb, turn up a little delay, and let's play. I don't want to spend my time going through all the different parameters. No matter how I tune the Yamaha on the amount and the effect, it always sounds good. Where in the Line 6, if I get in there and I start really messing around with stuff, I can get a sound that really sounds kind of poo-pooey. But again, if you tweak it right, you can get a sound that sounds really good. I just think for I guess for me, the idiot proof sound. I haven't been able to get a bad sound out of that Yamaha. It's just plug in, go. Um, Again, that's an amp that when she was down at the store and she was looking at it, I was like, I don't know about that. And every time I play it, I get more and more impressed with its ability and the sound. It actually sounds better unplugged in the room against the wall. When you sit in front of it and you're about 6 inches off the wall with that little amp, it's got stereo speakers on it. And the imaging off that little amplifier is just crazy good. Bless you, honey.
Thank you.
The imaging that that amplifier has off the wall is just, it is really, really good. It is impressive good. The imaging on that amplifier is actually better than the imaging on my rack amp. And I run stereo in that. But the imaging on this amp is just more full. The way it reflects off the walls, the way it sounds in the room, it just has a sound. And I can't put my finger on it, but it's really clean. It's got a great sound. And I'm not too sure why that is. Well, Yamaha's a good company. I'm sure that they've researched it, and the angle of those speakers are in there, a certain way. And the way the baffles in the cabinet are designed, it's designed to bounce off the wall and give you that sound. Rock says he's watching hockey, so I'm in and out. I can get that. So I don't know which amps you guys are running. I'm just going by what I've found in this channel's journey through equipment and Linnell's new refound guitar playing. Ibanez, I think they got it. I think they've nailed the cheaper guitar market, and that little Yamaha amp is just phenomenal. Like I said, I've been using it on the live streams. I can't complain, and I think it does good. I go back and I listen to these streams, and I'm really highly impressed at how well the amplifier is doing. Now, that doesn't mean I'm still looking into 2 new SE mics. If you guys can't see it, I'm going to lower my little mic down here. Here's my SE. It's usually right out of view, so you guys can't see it. So I am looking at a stereo pair of SE mics so I can go over and mic up my cabinet and start using my rack gear again. Believe it or not, I really haven't turned it on in the last 3 weeks. I have been playing her Yamaha or the HX Stomp. Mostly the Yamaha. It's just so quick and easy. My rack gear, I have to turn on a bunch of switches. It's just a lot more complicated. With the little Yamaha, I just go over, turn the power on, plug the guitar in, and I play. It's done. It's just more convenient. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. I've been playing it more than my rack gear. But I think I want to get back into my ramp, so I'm going to get some SE microphones for it in the future. And we're going to do a couple of live streams again with the open mics. It is a little harder because with the open cabinet, I have to remember to do this. I have to microphone off as I'm talking. So I always forget that. So if I'm talking and this mic's on and I'm playing guitar, it comes through this microphone too, and it's really weird. So I can't talk to you and play the guitar at the same time. Like with this interface, this guitar I cannot hear in the room. There is no sound from this guitar in the room. But I can sit and talk to you right now and still play the guitar. Because that microphone is not influenced by my playing. Now, if I wasn't on the interface, I would be having all kinds of issues. And I have not set the microphone up, so the guitar is probably louder than my speaking. But it would be easy to fix. Turn the guitar down a little bit. So now my voice should be a little better. So as I'm playing, and I do not have an 80 cycle cut set up. So if I wanted to do it right, I would cut from 80 hertz down on the guitar. So as I speak, those frequencies wouldn't be there for the bass and other things. I do like this part though. Being able to drop tune that quick and then come right back. And the guitar holds the tune. It impresses me. Yes, honey. I got the check closed. Voxes. Fights breaking out at the hockey game.
Up further.
Thanks at Devastator.
He plays.
Oh, I play a lot of acoustic guitar though. Thoughts on a good sounding whole pickup. I can't give you first-hand experience, Fox, on what would be a good one. I know Fishman makes a bunch of stuff. I would probably look at the Fishman stuff. And it's all about price point.
That's what Devastator said too, Fishman.
Yeah. I know Fishman makes good stuff. If you want something, you can do a sound hole pickup. And believe it or not, you can take the guitar to a luthier. Right underneath the sound plate, right, or your bridge plate, they make a metal bar, okay, on this piece of bone that's in here that's cut for your intonation. You can take that out. You drill a small hole in the acoustic right here, and there's a pickup that literally goes down in there, and the wire goes through that small hole, and you put that piece of bone back in that the string goes over. Those pickups are actually pretty good. You can do one of those along with a Fishman microphone hole. It's not really a pickup that sits in the hole. It's two microphones that sit down in the body along with the control unit. And then you can switch between the bridge mount pickup and the microphones, and you can blend the two. It really just depends on how much money you want to spend. But I know the ones that go underneath the piece of bone or your tungsten, whatever that you have back here, they sound really good. And I know some of the ones that have the microphone that fits on the wood ribs in certain spots, they can sound really good. And there's nothing wrong with the ones that fit down in the sound hole too. It depends on what you're looking for. But I would look into the one that goes underneath your piece here on the guitar, and then also look into the to a bridge hole one. And try to mix them. You can put some switching in, and you can get a blend of sounds to make it really full. But I would say Fishman would be really, really, really a good option. My finger, guys, has gotten so sore from playing. And you know what, guys? A lick that I have not played tonight, and it's not me on guitar unless I do it. Had to get that out of my system. That is a lick that that is a lick that I play on every guitar. It is a tattletale lick for how good a guitar really does.
Jerry says, doesn't your stomp have a pitch shifter?
What's this?
Jerry says, doesn't your stomp have a pitch shifter?
A pitch shifter. Who is this? Devastator?
Jerry.
Gary. I'm looking for it. I'm pretty sure the line 6 has a pitch shifter in it. I know my ART has a pitch shifter in it. The problem with pitch shifting, if you watch how I play, I don't play in like a lot of standard scales. So when you pitch shift, you tell it. You're going to play, let's say I'm playing here. The pitch shift will play the third, the fifth. Does that kind of make sense? Or it'll play one octave up. If you're playing one octave up or one octave down, I can probably make that work. But I'm not skilled enough, if that makes sense, to, let's say, set the pitch shifter up in fifths, because sometimes the fifth works on like this note. Let's say you're here. But let's say that fifth may not work when you go, does the fifth work to this note? Or this note, the fifth of your first to your third. There's going to be an instant where your third, your fifth, or your ninth may not necessarily work with every note in your progression. If my little squirrel brain can't get my head around what not to play, if that makes sense. Sometimes it's not, was it pitch shifting right? And it's not that it's not pitch shifting right. It may not be your shift, whatever note shift you're doing isn't playing well with your next note. So I've never really played with them that much just for that reason. I play so far out of the box that I find that I hit too many, I guess you call blue or sour notes. And I play a lot of sour notes. I play a lot of notes that aren't in scales, but I'll bend up to the corresponding note. Some of those notes aren't in the scale, but if you bend to your proper note, whether it's your third, whatever it is, if you bend up to it, you're fine. But on the pitch shift, I just found it confused me too much, Jerry, so I didn't really get into that. There's people out there that can get their brain around it, and they write some incredible music shifting. You're playing basically stereo, two different notes together. I could probably do it if I sat down and really struggled and thought maybe I could get my head around it. I just never did because of the blue notes. I couldn't make it. I haven't been able to make it fit my style, I guess, if that makes sense. It just sounds funny to me. But that doesn't mean it doesn't work, because there's 50,000 people out there that make it work, if that makes sense. It's just not something that I have been able to do successfully, if that makes sense, or successfully to the point where I think it sounds good to me. Um, I've had people say certain things. Well, why'd you do this or why'd you do that? Maybe it's a workaround that I've come across that works for me, and I get an unintentional side effect because I did a workaround, if that makes sense. A lot of my playing is a workaround for things that I may have struggled with in the past, and I knew I had to be able to do X or sound like I could do X. So I did a workaround with it, and after so many years, my workaround became second habit and became part of a style, I guess. I don't think that's anything new to anybody. I think a lot of people that have individual styles, I think it started out as a workaround, if that makes sense. They struggled with something that they wanted to do, so they did a workaround on it to get something close, and that became a staple for them. You know, I have some staples. That is a staple thing that I do. You'll hear me do it a lot. Just like that. There's certain things, no matter what I'm doing, you'll hear. That. And it's a one-pick thing, but if you do it quick, it sounds like you're doing a lot more than you're actually doing. Very little picking going on there. I'm using my fingers to pull off and create ghost notes to make it sound like I'm playing faster than I actually am. It's a workaround, guys. And I'm sure if I can pick Birdman out, Penagore out, Jupe out, and if we watch these guys say play a lead, and you watch them long enough, everyone, even Vox, I don't care who's in the chat, if you watch them long enough, you're going to pick up certain things that they always root back to, whether it's at the beginning or a center or a bridge. They're doing a lick and they want to go from this lick to another lick. They have something that they're going to do to bridge whatever they're working to. It's something that they do, that they're familiar with. Everybody has it. Start paying attention to my playing. Start paying attention to your playing. And you're going to start noticing there are certain things, certain note sequences that you do. You might pick it a little different. But you'll even see where that note sequence has been transposed to another spot in the neck. You might be playing it backwards. But your ear likes these notes. So you've used these notes in multiple places in the neck. Maybe not in the same sequence, maybe in a reverse sequence. But you'll find yourself getting stuck, I guess you can say, with X notes because you're in this A minor or E minor or E major, whatever scale that your ear seems to like or note. You'll find yourself gravitating to X. And I could be wrong, but I've watched guitar players and I go, wow, he's really good. And then I listen to him, it's like, okay. And then after watching them 20 times, it's kind of like, okay, I see he's built on this and he's mastered it. That's why he sounds so good. It's not, I don't want to say they're not bad musicians. I'm not a bad musician, but I'm not a great musician. A great musician is someone that not only has all those signature little things that they do, but they play multiple different styles and they have that exact same signature in a completely different style, whether it's jazz, blues, rock, metal. But when they play it, you still know it's them. Okay? That to me is a next level musician. Whether they're, like I just said, playing blues, jazz, rock, metal, they just have a way of picking, a way of attacking the strings, a way of doing their thing on that guitar, and you go, ah, that's Joe Satriani. Ah, that's Steve Vai. Ah, that's Yngwie Malmsteen. That's Nick Johnson. That's whoever it is. You know, that, oh, that's Greg Howe. They have something that just goes through and it transcends the style that they're playing. And you go, you know, that sounds like Greg Howe, but I don't remember him ever playing the blues. And then, oh, wow, it is Greg Howe. Well, it sounds like Greg Howe, but I don't ever remember him playing metal. Greg Howe's played everything. Same with Vai and all these other guys. But when you hear it, you kind of go, why does that sound so familiar? If you like that artist just has a sound and a feel. And that's what I feel I lack, if that makes sense. I'm still learning. I want to learn to apply to a bunch of different styles, if that makes sense. And it's really opened up to me since I started buying different types of guitars. And that's why I always say, if I buy a guitar and it makes me play different, that's pretty much a keeper. Because if it makes me play different, I'm going to learn new things. I'm going to learn to express myself a little differently because I'm feeling different when I play it. So the last 2 years, I've learned so much, and my mannerisms as when my playing has really changed. And some things that I feel that I was good at, I might not be as good at today, but I think overall, I'm a better musician than I was 2 years ago. Even though there were certain things that I feel I did better 2 years ago. Now I'm a more rounded player. I think my timing is a little better now than it was 2 years ago. If that makes any sense, so what whatsoever. I think I've gained some ground and I've lost a little ground, but I think I've gained, there you go. I think I've gained more ground doing YouTube and practicing and hearing the criticism of other people and having great channel people sending me pics going, hey, I think this is going to help you. Just listening to comments from people going, I've watched you play, you should try this or try that. The inner conversation has truly helped this guy, I feel, become a better musician. And hopefully I've done that to you guys. Hopefully you guys have watched me and I've kind of given you something that has made you either more confident at setting up your guitar or more confident at playing whatever style you want to call that I have, that you've made it go, well, I'm going to learn that lick Avery just did. So hopefully I've contributed something to you guys too, just as much as you all have contributed to me. That's what it's about, guys. I don't mean to cut it short tonight. I don't think tonight was a short stream, but my voice is about shot for tonight. I don't know how much time we've been on. I can't really tell. YouTube's not helping me.
It's 5 minutes after 11.
Oh, yeah, okay, I see it now. So it's been a 3-hour stream. So we've definitely outdone most channels. Most channels, 2 hours is about maximum. And I feel like I cut you guys short on Thursday, so I definitely wanted to do a 3-hour stream tonight.
Kurt said, Avery, any idea for Jupe's next video?
Yes, Jupe's next video is going to be probably midweek. this coming week. I just fell behind. It Doing the live stream twice a week, that takes out 2 working nights on me working on guitars. Okay, usually Fridays I am wiped because on Thursday nights I stay up so late doing the live stream. By the time I get off work on Friday, I literally come home on Friday and I pass out. I am so exhausted from being up to 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. Because when I say I watch the stream after the stream, I do. I go back and I watch this stream. And I go back and I watch it after the chat posts to see how I can get better. What topics did I go over that created you guys to engage more or bring up better conversations and stuff like that. So I go back and I do pay attention. That doesn't mean that I always learn the first time. I'm still learning, but Friday nights is done for me. So that usually leaves me about 3 to 4 nights a week to actually work on the guitar. Right now, the frets on the guitar, which you guys don't see, are done. And my next step is I'm laying out the back of the neck for the reshape. On your all's end, the next video will be crowning the frets and addressing the fret sprout and polishing the frets.
Mike wants to know, how did the gold top claim the recliner?
How did the gold? Oh, I don't know. I like playing it. So the guitars that you see out here are the guitars that I'm playing at the time. So right now, the gold top's in the chair, and you really can't see it. Right next to the gold top is the yellow Kramer. It's really not in the camera vision, but right next, it's so weird. I'm looking at the screen on the TV, you can't see the Kramer. You can see just a little spot of the Kramer that's the wing of the Kramer right there. So the yellow Kramer's here and the Ibanez is here. It's just one of those things, Mike. I go through them. I still have my Squire Nashville telly up on the wall, my FFMN, my George Lynch copy. Over on this wall, I have my Epiphone Dot. Next guitar is my Fender FMT. Then we have another Linnell's guitar. We have a Firefly Les Paul, the black Tiger Maple top guitar. They haven't made that guitar in like 6 or 7 years. So that's all the guitars that are out there. So these are the guitars that are in circulation right now. But I'm not going to lie, the Ibanez has really been my go-to guitar here the last 3 weeks. I've been playing that one the most.
Fox wants to know, where's the puppy tonight?
The puppy's with the little one in the bedroom. She's playing Xbox, so the puppy's in there on the bed with her. She kind of stole the puppy dog tonight. Vox, my Garrett T style is so heavy, I would hate to think what would happen if it fell. Ha! I've heard people say hit and miss things on the Garrett stuck, so I don't know. Ha! I don't know. Searching for Tone says almost 3 hours. That's a marathon. Believe it or not, I think we've done 4 hours and 15 minutes on a live stream. Let's just say after that live stream, my poor throat, I was doing throat lozenges and everything else. My throat was so sore. It was horrible. We were doing a lot of live streams, but I would say 3 hours is pretty much our average live stream on a Saturday night. I've been trying to shorten Thursday night's live stream down to 2 hours. And it has nothing to do with you guys. It just has to do with I have to get to bed and I got to get up at basically 4:30 in the morning. And that's really hard because if I start at 8 and it's a 2-hour stream, that's 10, and I need time to wind down. I can't just end the stream and go to bed because I get my adrenaline's going. I've been playing. You know how you get when you're playing your guitar. You get that rush and that feeling. So I really just can't end the stream and go right to bed. I haven't been able to do that. So I'll go out in the kitchen. I sit with Linnell, I'll pull up the thing again, and I look at all the little silly things that I may have said incorrectly in the stream, and I laugh about it. Or I'll laugh at a mistake that I did on the guitar because I'm just pulling riffs out of my BUTT. Um, yeah, I got to detune a little bit. So I've been shortening Thursday nights just simply because I got to get up at 4 on Friday. Um, and it was really difficult when we were doing Friday, Saturday night. That was crazy. At least with Thursday and Saturday, I'm not stepping on anybody's channel, if that makes sense. I can't think of anyone doing a Thursday night live. Um, I'm sure there is, but it's no one that I'm aware of. So I was trying to pay attention to everybody's channel and try not to step on toes, if that makes sense. And I didn't know anyone doing Saturday night, so I don't think I stepped anybody's toes on Saturday nights. Um, so I always pay attention to that stuff, guys. I don't. I'm not here to upset other channels. I'm not here to do anything other than to have people to talk to, if that makes sense.
Mike said waking up for work at 4:30. That should be illegal.
It should be, Mike. I'm gonna mail my congressman and see if we can't change that. uh, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. Just like the 30-hour work week they talked about, they can make a 30-hour work week mandatory, but I can't pay my bills on a 30-hour work week, so I've got to work 40 hours. I actually have to work about 45 hours at my job to really be in decent shape. This is an expensive area. I live in the Metroplex in Washington, the tri-state area. This is an expensive area to live, but with expensive areas, of course, the income goes up. So a lot of people go, "Wow, you make how much an hour?" You got to qualify that by where you live. I live in an expensive area, so the pay rate here has gradually went up due to the cost of living. So that's the only reason I make what I make, because Northern Virginia is an expensive place to live. We have the largest growing county in the United States, Loudoun County. It is growing, 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 and there's no way I can afford to live in Loudoun County. I live in Warren County just for that reason. And Warren County now is growing like mad fire, so it's just getting more and more expensive to live here. And this is my home, if that makes sense. So it's just one of those things, guys. So I got to work just like everybody else. That's why I'm so picky on guitar reviews. I get some comments sometimes like, "Dude, it's a $200 guitar. Give me a break." Yeah, it's a $200 guitar. But you know what? This guy worked hard for that $200. I did. And I'm sure you guys work hard too for that $200. So the last thing I need is to watch some YouTube channel and go, "Oh, this thing's great." And, I'm going to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for the next month, buy this guitar and go, "Wow, I just wasted $200. So I want to give good information. That's why I always tell people at the end of my videos, if you had a completely different experience, put it down there. If you had an experience like this one, put it down there. If you're somewhere in between, put it down there. It's not necessarily to help me. Maybe they saw something and that guitar did have it. And I go, "Wow, my guitar did that too." And I learned from it. But it's more about other people watching the video at a later date. They can go back to the comment section and they can read posts from people that bought that guitar, that aren't YouTubers, okay, that can go, "Yes, I liked it. No, I didn't." Or they have a different way of expressing something that I may have missed in the video, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So again, it's up to you guys, the participants, the people in the video that make the after video worth coming back to, or someone else watching, if that makes sense. I can only do so much. That's why I give you guys so much credit, because it's you guys that really make it work, if that makes sense. All right, guys, like we normally do, I'm going to open up a 5-minute ending chat window, and I'm pretty sure it's this button here, since I don't have OBS set up properly. I'm going to hit this button, and basically it gives you 5 minutes for everyone to chat. And sometimes I come in and chat too, but usually during this 5 minutes, I go out and get something to drink and get my throat feeling better. And I read your all's comments as you guys are doing it. So it's 5 minutes open chat, and then the stream will end. If you haven't already and you haven't noticed, I do not have subscriber mode only on. If you come to this channel for this live stream, you can comment. You do not have to be a subscriber to comment. I'm not going to force you to subscribe to voice an opinion. The chat is for that, your opinion. Hopefully, I've earned your subscription and you'll come back to another live show, or you'll go watch some of my guitar tech videos or some of our review videos. Hopefully, I've earned that. If you've liked the stream, go down and hit the like button. And at the end of the stream, if you guys would, just go down and leave a comment. And all those little things help. All the little emojis and smacks, hand smacks and firecracker signs. YouTube counts all that stuff, guys. It is a live show, so it does become irrelevant after about a week, unless someone wants to go back and watch something as like an archive. But again, without you guys, this stream wouldn't be possible, and this channel wouldn't be possible. And I want to thank everyone that has supported the channel 100%. Without you guys, it would not be possible. And here's our 5-minute ending chat. Thanks, guys.